final topic, Trove topics.
Hey.
Just jotting down the time there. So we didn't get too much this week, but it was a busy week in video game news, nerdy news stuff for us. So one of the questions we did get, actually, I'll dive into this one that Buddy asked you first, and then we'll round out with the big news. So Buddy at BuddyWatson12, asks, ask Mario how that downwell play is coming along. Tongue sticky outy emoticon, and what NS needs on top of the trailer reveal. So our other question is also going to be about the NS. But so what's the deal with this downwell playthrough?
So basically
that he's hounding you on.
Basically, I think it was like on a kind of funny like off-topic discussion. We somehow bumped into each other, and for some reason we were talking about downwell. And we talked about it a lot on Twitter and on Facebook. He hit me up because that game's really hard. Like, that download is really... Have you played Downwell?
I've not, but I kept hearing Colin talk about how hard it was.
Oh, dude, you should. If you have a Vita, right?
Yep.
You should buy that game. I definitely recommend it. It's incredibly good. I was, like, stuck to it in my flight to LA for E3, which was, like, a 6-hour flight. I had so many games, and I had books, and I had comic books, and all I did was play Downwell for 6 hours straight. So it's so good, but it's really, really, really hard. It's so hard. And I finally was able to get to the main boss, and once you get to the main boss, you kind of figure out a strategy of what gun, because throughout the whole game, you just use the standard gun boots, but towards, like, the last stage and the boss, if you use that, you're fucked. You have to like build up. It's very strategical the way you have to do it. You have to like build up your ammo so you can get the laser, which is like the strongest weapon in the game. But it takes up a lot of ammo. And so he and I were speaking because we were like in very similar things. He was like, when he reached the boss, I was like starting to reach the boss, and he was like, yeah, that's really tough. And I finally beat it. I beat it first than him. I tweeted that. I was like so excited, and he hit me up on Facebook. I was like, how did you do it? I sort of told him, and then like I think 2 days after that, he beat it. He beat it too. I'm like, awesome, yay! Let's go for the platinum. Now for the platinum, there's something called hard mode. Hard mode is fucking insane, dude. There's 4 stages and a boss in Downwell. That's it. And in normal mode, to even get to the 4th stage, it took me probably something like 3 months of playing probably every night. It took me like 3 months. So imagine in fucking hard mode. I haven't passed World 2. Just for you, buddy. Dude, it's way too hard. It's fucking ridiculous. It's so hard. Oh my god, it's so hard. It's infuriatingly hard, but it's so good. Like, it's so good.
Awesome. And then, so tying that into Brandon Gann asked the other question at GamesGan. I gotta ask, Nintendo Switch and Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer thoughts. Personally enjoyed them. So yeah, obviously Nintendo Switch, Red Dead 2, the big kind of news of this week. Tying into Buddy's question of what does the NS need on top of the trailer reveal. So what are your thoughts on the NS? I haven't really had a chance to chat about NS with anybody.
Yeah, me neither.
The Nintendo Switch. So what did you think of the trailer?
Me neither. Interested to talk about that. First of all, I love how it's being called the NS because it was NX. Yeah. And I think that might stick, actually, the Nintendo Switch. That would totally stick, and it feels kind of like old schooly because NES. But anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
The NS, I think, is amazing. I really think Nintendo. I think this is probably the best thing they could do, and I think this has a chance of being a success. I think it will be a success. Not to Wii levels. I don't think anything should ever reach Wii levels of success because that actually ended up being bad for the console itself. Like, the massive success it had ended up having like all these shovelware games. Is just like, it wasn't a good thing to have. But I think the Switch, what it has going for it, like what it's unique for, I don't think it's as much of a gimmick as the like Wii was. The whole idea of the Switch is really cool. Like, I saw that Tim Geddes mentioned this in the reacts. I love how it doesn't look like a toy, because the Wii U
See,
totally
that's
looks
he
like a
said
toy.
that, and I feel like it does. I feel like the control pieces, especially. I feel like
Oh
they
yeah,
still look cheap to me. Like
the,
the system itself, the core system center part there, that looks like a much more solid tablet than the Wii U
than the Wii
tablet
U.
does. But yeah, like all the peripheral stuff around that still looks to me like it's just like I could like snap it in two with my hands.
Yeah,
So I'm that's where there's a little bit of contention on from me on that.
I can see that. I really want to see it in person, see how it looks,
Yeah,
because like maybe the Joy-Con is definitely it's a thing that I get why it exists, and I think it's cool, but I'm pretty sure like I'm not gonna use it ever. Most people aren't gonna use it. And it probably is a part that maybe could break the easiest, but in general, I think Nintendo is so good at doing something like new. There's something new. Like that's the thing. I've seen some people, most people are excited about this, being like, why can't a Nintendo just give us a regular next gen console? It's like, yeah, but that's not what Nintendo does. That's not what
hmm
Nintendo's ever done. They're
yeah,
so good at innovating, and this is really something innovative. This is something that, as of now, it's just something really new and interesting, but it could be a game changer. Because if you take a look at the trailer, like, yeah, playing Skyrim on the go, like, why not? That sounds like awesome, because it's not like I love my Vita, I adore my Vita, but the games on the Vita are different than the games on my like me PS4. But if I could play
hmm
those games totally on the go, that's incredible. And then you have to begin with the argument of, okay, I'm a PlayStation guy and I love my PlayStation 4 and I like it like over any other console. But if I want certain game and I have a Nintendo Switch, and let's say I'm a person who like travels a lot, I'm like, well, isn't it worth it to actually buy it on the Switch so I can have like that on the go thing? Like, okay, I could play on my PS4 and it's probably gonna look a little better, and maybe it'll run a little better, but I can also have it on the Switch and I immediately get to have it on the go, and I think that is like really cool. We still need to know
and
what
that's
battle life is and all that. It's still a lot of that
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely, yeah. And the weird thing about that, like the on the go argument, and like I was actually thinking back as looking at like we talked about this on your show, like when I came and did
Oh
PS
yeah, we
Enthusiast.
did, we did.
Like we had like a little diversion into like what the NX needs to be, and we talked then about like is it console gaming on the go or is it like on the go gaming that can like go up onto a console?
Yeah, and it's
And
it's the first one.
and it's yeah. Well, jury's out on that for me still.
Mm.
But the because it's like there's no way it's going to be as powerful, obviously, as like the current level of
Yeah.
consoles. And even that though, I sit there and I'm like what when I was watching the trailer, I was like I especially this last year, I travel more than like most people I know, unless you're like in the industry, in that sense. And even when I'm traveling, like that's only a few hours I'm putting into any
Mm.
of those kinds of consoles. Like I don't have a commute that like I have a commute, but I have to drive through it, so I'm not like playing my game on the go on my commute. So like on the go gaming isn't really for me. Uh, and I do like everything I saw in the trailer, and I tweeted out something to this effect. Like seems like it would have been like this is the kind of thing that when I was 10 and playing like a Game Boy, absolutely it would have been amazing because I'm sitting in the back seat of my car, of my parents' cars. They're driving me around places. I can play this amazing thing when we go on like road trips or when we do fly somewhere. I could play it there on the plane. But as the adult that I have to be now, where I don't have the luxury, like the most I've been playing like a handheld in probably the last couple of years, even with my Vitas, is right now I'm playing through Dragon Quest VII on my 3DS,
Okay.
and that's like I play that for a little bit before I go to bed each night, kind of thing. And even like that's playing a PlayStation 1 game that has kind of been upported to the 3DS, but that's like a rarity for me. I'm much more going to be the guy at the beginning of that trailer that's just going to have it plopped in, and that's almost entirely how I'm going to play the Switch. So everything else for me ends up kind of feeling like, well, how is this system's ability to do all of that other stuff? How is that going to negatively impact me as a gamer?
Okay.
Like one of the things that I haven't really seen a lot of people talking about, but it's like one of the immediate things I think of is in that scene where they're showing either when they're in the back of the car playing Mario Kart or when they're playing the basketball game like on the court, and it's okay. Like you can play a game with only half of the controller, so all you have there is like the analog stick and like 4 buttons, and a shoulder button or something.
I've seen that too,
so,
and that's really strange too. I
so
don't really get that.
So that like really means very simplified control schemes, and so the idea, and this is weird, where like if you've been following along and like 2K and Bethesda basically said, yeah, the 2K game and Skyrim aren't confirmed yet, but we're proud to be like publishing partners. And so I was like, okay, well, what is that like? I imagine you wouldn't have agreed to show the game if it's not coming to the system, but it definitely, like, I see them playing that NBA 2K game or whatever, and I'm like, and they're really only doing that with like 4 buttons and the like, there's no camera controls there then because you don't have a second analog stick, and you're out a D-pad.
Yeah.
You're out any kind of like any like L3 or R3 from like the PlayStation stance, and I don't know what. I haven't seen a good enough glimpse of like what half of a Joy-Con controller looks like in terms of having like trigger buttons
Completely.
there. So like that's what, because if you look since like GameCube, Nintendo controllers have been getting more. I mean, like with the Wiimote, if any game on the Wii and the Wii U can basically be played with the Wiimote, you're looking at a very simplified system, and this seems to be more in that vein. So that's like one of my biggest concerns. I mean, like, yeah, we can touch on battery life, and
no, it's totally valid. It's valid for sure.
And so like I sit there and I'm like, okay, well, if this game that I want to play on the Switch also has to be able to be played in that kind of configuration, how deep and how complex of games will we get on that system?
Yeah.
Or are there games that like you can't play, like you can only play it in like that configuration, and then you get like a completely different experience if you're going to split it up and play, like even the Mario Kart demo that they showed. It's like, okay, I feel like I need more than like this and the 4 buttons. So yeah, those are like my biggest concerns on the Switch.
Definitely. And yeah, actually, like you said, that's one of the things that jumped out to me for sure, like in the sense of the 2 guys just playing with the half of a Joy-Con controller. It's like, yeah, well, that seems very weird. Like, that's why the D-pad is not like a regular D-pad, where it's like 4 buttons. I was like, yeah, that seems kind of weird. You're not gonna play really NBA with like only 4 buttons. But if I think about it a little bit more, I also think that that's a little bit of a, oh, look what this can do, situation, more of a realistic situation, because I don't see myself being in a situation where I'm gonna go, okay, I want to play Mario Kart with my friends, but we're not gonna be in my home, and I'm not gonna have space to have like an extra controller. Like, I don't see like that being a really. I'm not ever gonna go to the park with my friends and be like, oh, I have my Switch here. Do you want to play NBA 2K14? It's like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But how I do see the NX, I was gonna call it NX, NS, Being like really cool is, for example, let's go and give it to you. How do you see it a lot? Because like I go to my aunt's house a lot. She has like two little kids, and we go there and visit a lot because we're family, and we go there a lot. And I always bring my Vita because there comes a point where I just like sit in a corner and play a little bit of Vita. And like where I really see a very cool thing with the Switch is like being like, okay, let's say I'm playing The Witcher, right? And I'm in the middle of Witcher, and my mom goes, "Hey, you want to go to your aunt's house?" I'll be like, "Okay, sure." And I take my NS and just take it home, right? And take it with them. It's gonna be a little tablet. I have my full controllers, and I'm gonna be like, "Okay," and then I play it there. That seems like a cool idea. In terms of like actually separating and not being like a full tablet like the Wii U, like having the little Joy-Con controller like connection thing, that seems a little janky. I want to see how like it works. If maybe it's actually more comfortable. Nintendo's really good. You gotta give them like what they need to do, because they're really good at making really comfortable controllers. I don't think I can think of except of the Wii U, maybe with the right analog stick, the placement. But usually what they make is very comfortable to hold. So
Yeah, I mean, I like the N64 controller still seems.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
Well.
But yeah, totally. But seeing like from the GameCube onwards, like even the Wii seemed like a very weird configuration. We were like, no, there's no way this good. But it actually was. Like when you were playing a Wii with a nunchuck and a Wii mode, that felt awesome. You were great. Like the nunchuck felt great, and it felt natural. The Wii U gamepad, I think it feels pretty comfortable to hold, even though I don't like the gamepad in general. I think it's a comfortable thing. So I think they can find a way to make this little square thing like comfortable to hold. And I don't know, like I was saying, yeah, the Joy-Con thing, like reverse, I don't think anybody's really gonna like use that, because that just doesn't seem comfortable. I think a more like plausible situation is being like, oh hey, we're gonna go to X person's house, let's say Mike's house, we want to play like Mario Kart, and be like, okay, I'm gonna take my NX and I'm gonna take a Pro controller, and be like, okay, so I'm gonna play with a Joy-Con and you'll play with a Pro controller. That seems like way more realistic. Just a little bit of preparation. But for myself, like just having the gamepad, like a gamepad, I don't even need the connection. Just holding it, like if it was a whole unit, because I don't also see a lot of situations where I want to play, but I don't want to hold the thing. I want to like put it down and then have a controller separate. Because if I'm on the go, it's like more comfortable to just have one thing. Mm-hmm. And for myself, I think that's great. If the battery life's like 3-4 hours, I'm like, yes, totally, because I don't travel that much. I will start to travel a little bit more, start to go like to more events and stuff, and I'm sure that'll help for sure. But for stuff like this, where it's not like necessarily having to be on a train, but it being like, oh, right now I can leave my home if I'm gonna do something else, and I can bring my console with me, like with no problem. If I'm playing Skyrim and I want to like finish this mission, I don't have to pause or put my PlayStation to rest mode. It's just like, okay, I'll take it with me, and when I get a chance, I'll finish that, and I'm good. And it seems really good. Yeah. And I also saw, I don't know if you saw this on the Kind of Funny Facebook group, like this concept. It was basically a drawing.
Oh, with the like different. I saw that somebody that Beyond person actually posted.
Oh,
that.
Beyond. It wasn't Beyond, and like.
Well, it got posted in Beyond a while back, or Beyond or NBC. I guess probably it was NBC.
Maybe.
But yeah, it is an IGN fan that like did that mock up of like where you've got like the Joy-Con that's like a fishing rod, and a Joy-Con that's like a yokai watch thing.
And and that's like really smart, like, because it's not something you necessarily sell like, oh, we're gonna make so much money off of these. It could be something like there was a GameCube controller, and that for Smash, like boom, solved that problem. Solved. And you could be like, okay, if you buy Smash for the Switch, it'll come with that with the right side of a Joy-Con controller.
Yep.
There's a GameCube controller.
Yeah, my favorite I think is like the Pokemon Snap one.
Oh, yeah. There's like a camera. There's one for Resident Evil, which is like kind of a gun, and I could definitely see that Nintendo doing that because Nintendo does a lot of stuff like that. They sell hardware and they sell the accessories with them, and
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
seems like a cool idea.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. When I first saw that a few weeks ago, I was like that could sell me on the idea of this. One of the things I'm also curious about, it's not a concern so much, but like they kind of excuse me, they suggest as much in the when they're doing the airplane segment of the commercial, where the guy's got like the control, he's just kind of sitting there with the two halves. And
Yeah,
he's playing
which looks super awkward, right? He's like
looks super awkward, but the bigger thing there is like, okay, so they're wireless. So like,
Yeah.
what, like, is there latency there? I mean, are they always wireless? Even if you've got it like connected, is it still basically just a wireless like? Bluetooth
That's a good
connection
question.
to
Yeah,
the device or
that's a
something
real
like
question.
that?
Good question.
It'll be interested to see, kind of, and if they are, like, what's the range on that? Like, can I be, like, how far, since they're wireless and I'm sitting there with the Joy-Con, like, how far away from the TV do I have to be? I'm sure it's not like, I'm sure I could be like 20 feet away, which I'm
Yeah.
never actually going to be.
Yeah,
20
because
feet
it's
away
such a small
and doing
screen,
it.
anyways.
Exactly. That's the other thing. Like, the playing it on its own, it looks like an iPhone or something. Like, it looks like the size of an iPhone 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am not interested in, like, I had road trips where we would play like Super Nintendo games on like a TV like this big, and it would be like me and my sister playing Mario Kart or something like that, and I'm like, I like having a big screen TV
Yeah.
that I can play on. I don't want to play like console quality games on something this tiny.
This tiny, yeah.
Even the Vita, it's like I like the experiences I have on the Vita because they're built for that, not they're built for both. So again, that's kind of my concern. I love the idea of the it's an all-in-one kind of thing.
Yeah.
But again, I'm wary of, okay, well, if I'm playing something that looks great on something this big, how is it going to look on my 60-inch TV?
Totally.
Like, how does that res up or res down? Like, where is the disconnect there going to be?
I
In
also...
the same way that, like, playing
Yeah.
VR right now, I can, like, it looks fine when it's, like, you know, right in front of my face here, but then, yeah, as soon as I pull the headset up and I see what, like, other people who are looking at the TV are seeing, it's like, oh, that doesn't look as good at all.
Yeah. It's totally. And another thing I really like about the NX, going a little bit more into the hardware, this software side of things, is that presumably after this, Nintendo no longer has like two different people doing two games for two different things. I really like the
Yeah.
idea of being like, okay, the team who made Super Mario 3D Land and the team who made Super Mario 3D World, like, they're not going to be separate. They're not going to be doing, okay, you do the DS version and you do the Wii U version. It's like, no, you make the same game. And so that's really cool that all of Nintendo's efforts go towards one thing. I think means more games and, like, even better games, actually. I really like that idea, and it's like you can finally get what people have been asking for of like a home console Pokemon, maybe even an MMO. I don't know if they're gonna actually make an MMO, but like a home, like even higher quality console Pokemon, and it's gonna be that, and it's also gonna be on the go, which is what we're used to from Pokemon, and that just seems cool. I think Nintendo has a good one on them. I really do. I think they have. It's a neat idea. They can screw that up real fast. For example, if the NS like the thing by itself, if the only way to charge it is like to dock it, that's an immediate like problem. If there's no way to externally, and they could do that, who fucking knows? It's Nintendo. They could screw that up real quick. If you can connect a cable to it, you're fine. But maybe they do like, no, the only way to charge it is to dock it, and that's like, no, that's like a problem. But So far, what we've seen has me really excited. If I could pre-order it now, I would. I definitely would,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's novel, and I'm interested just to see it. I miss Nintendo a lot. I skipped the Wii U 3DS generation entirely. I just miss it, and I think this could probably not. It'll probably not sell as much as Wii, but I think it can definitely put him back on the map as a prolific hardware maker.
Yeah, I'll definitely be curious to see where it lands price wise, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as something that is basically a hybrid of like on the go and console, you imagine it's either going to be a really expensive handheld or a somewhat cheap console, and so it'll be a matter then of like, I mean, worst case scenario, it's an expensive handheld and an expensive console.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
like,
$500, and you're like,
I
oh,
mean, well, it's like the Wii U is still $300 out there,
which is
where
insane.
you can get superior, you can get far superior tech from the Xbox One S and the PS4 Slim now, and so yeah, it's like if this ends up coming in at like even $300, it's like, okay, well, that's way more than I would pay for a Vita, or than it will like that would keep the 3DS sales alive, because the 3DS then suddenly becomes a way cheaper option for Nintendo gaming. Um, but it's like, okay, well, now I'm at least getting a better system, so goodbye Wii U. So yeah, I'm really curious to see where it's going to land. I think, like, my gut says it'll probably be 350 or 400, which will be a really hard sell as a handheld.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And again, like, I think 90% of the people that buy this thing are going to buy it for the features of the first 30 seconds of that commercial. It's going to be a plug and play and watch it on the computer, or watch it on your, or play it on your TV, and that's all they're ever going to do with it.
Yeah, I feel you. I
People like us that are like in the industry and like going to events and stuff, yeah, we'll take it on our flights and we'll have it for that. But like, I don't see myself, if I can play it in my hands, or if I can play it on a big screen, I'm going to play it on a big screen.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I in terms of price point, yeah, I think it's gonna be $300. I would hope, like, it would be so awesome if they come out and be like, it's 250. I doubt that, but that would be incredible. Like, that would be like,
And that's,
okay, I'm down.
I'm like, I don't even fathom that, because
Oh no, me neither. But
because
that would
the
be
Wii
awesome.
U, because the Wii U is still at 300. There's no way they're going to come out with a more expensive product and sell it for less.
Yeah, I feel you.
So-
But I just imagine, like, a lot of, not in the way that the trailer showed it, because a trailer, it's a trailer. You're not gonna really, your friends aren't gonna invite you to rooftop, and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna bring my NX. But imagine being
Thanks,
like,
Karen.
yeah, thanks, Karen. I love that post so much.
Yeah.
But imagine, like, I think it has a lot of cool things. Imagine Kind of Funny Live 3, right? Although that's a little murky. Let's say 4, because probably it's not going to be released for Kind of Funny Live 3. Let's say Kind of Funny Live 4.
I mean, if it's coming out in March.
Oh yeah, that's right. If it comes out in
Ki-
like middle,
Kind of Funny Live 3, assuming past events.
it's gonna be
it'll probably
March.
like end of May.
Yeah. Okay. So
Kind of
yeah,
Funny
you're
Live
right.
3. No, it'll be Kind of Funny Live 3 was like Memorial Day this year, so that's probably where
It's gonna
aim
hit.
for it again.
So yeah, you're totally right. So let's say in Kind of Funny Live 3, we also have like a ton of meetups like we did. Imagine, like, okay, we're gonna go to Wings today, all right? And obviously most of us brought our Switches and probably a Pro controller. Be like, okay, let's go there and be like, you and me, like, dude, I really want to play you in Smash. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna bring my NES, and like, you bring your controller. I'd be like, okay, and yeah, it's totally on a small screen, and yeah, it's probably not gonna be as great if you do it on the TV. But it's that's
or with Wings, where we're
Or-
gonna get like wing sauce all over our
We're gonna-
brand new super expensive system.
We're totally
It's a
gonna-
horrible idea. You're talking about Mario.
we're totally gonna destroy our NSs. You're right. You're totally right. No, but like that's something you can't do right now. You know, because remote
Yeah.
play, it just isn't there. And this is not remote play because this is the console. You're not
I
streaming
mean,
it.
the argument I would have for that would be, well, we can take our 3DSs and play Smash on 3DS
You're right.
together.
You're right.
You could, or just like Street Pass, Street Pass up and down, and that's what like at the last at PAX West. That's like all I did. Like I just took my
That's
my
what you did.
3DS just to Street Pass and like restart because it was a new 3DS for me because I lost my last one in LA last time I was there. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to, like, walk around and, like, fill in puzzle pieces all day.
Straight up.
And that was what I did in the lines.
That seems awesome. Yeah, you're right in that, but I don't know. I think we can get some things that we can't do right now because that's what Nintendo's trying to go for. Like, yeah, okay, we're gonna give you something that's like obviously not as powerful as a PS4, but it's something somewhere in the middle of that, who can actually like run some of the next gen games. I mean, if you saw like Skyrim, yeah, it's not been confirmed, but you have to assume since it was shown in the trailer, so it can run Skyrim like Skyrim, like the definitive edition, whatever the name is. And so you have to assume it's like, okay, this is literally console gaming on the go because the actual console is like sleek enough for you to take it. So with any game, I think it brings potential for being like, okay, I'll bring my NS to your house and let's do that if you don't have one or stuff like that. I think that seems cool. I think it's probably not going to be what you use it for 90% of the time, but I think that 10% of the time you're doing something that you couldn't before, and that's cool. That it's just cool to have something novel.
I'll certainly be curious to see what like third party support, how that sticks around.
Definitely.
Like I said, if games do get restricted because like it has to be able to play with just 4 buttons and a stick, like what does that mean for more of those experiences? Yeah, I tweeted this out too. Skyrim, like everybody being excited for Skyrim amuses me because Skyrim's 5 years old now.
Oh yeah, no,
and I remember when the Wii U came out, like, and one of the like launch titles for the Wii U was Arkham City, which at that point was a year old. People were like, "This is lame. Why are you giving us a game from a year ago? This is stupid." And everybody's like, "No, you're giving us a game from 5 years ago? That's amazing! Oh my god, my mind is blown." And it's like, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's just a fun little bit of like hypocrisy within the current hype culture of our ecosystem.
Yeah.
Which I don't fault it. I'm fascinated by it.
But it just goes to show that Nintendo is kind of doing a good job because you're right. If they would have done this exact same thing with the Wii U, people would be like, why? But with the Switch, it somehow seems interesting because the idea of even being able to take a game like that, even if it's 5 years old, like on the go, that's super exciting for some people. So that goes to show that Nintendo's doing something right.
Yeah, here's hoping they do well. So for you, they don't need anything on top of the trailer. You're all in. You'd buy it right now if it were
I would
so.
Because I miss Nintendo. I was going to buy a 3DS or maybe even a Wii U. Like I really was going to do it probably like 3 months ago, but I decided, okay, I'm gonna wait to see really what we knew as an X back then is. I'm glad I didn't because I'm gonna get the games I really wanted out of the Wii U and 3DS. I will get them in some way or another with the NS. But yeah, I really miss Nintendo. Nintendo has something going for them in terms of the game. I know the Wii U wasn't great, but it has some great games on it, and I miss that magic. And I think this can take that magic back, not only on the software side, but on the hardware side too.
Yeah, for me, I mean, despite all of my like pessimism or cynicism on it, like I'm gonna get it. I will probably have it day one, if for no other reason than for like coverage and in the same reason as I got like the PSVR, so I can write about it and talk about it and be part of the conversation that everybody else is having. Things I want to see from it still though, or that I'm most curious about are obviously price and battery life, but also kind of what the like the network infrastructure of the NS is going to be. Is it an evolved version of the Virtual Console and the store that the Nintendo store that they've got now on like Wii U and 3DS, or is it something new? Will we ever get to keep our digital licenses, or if I bought Mother on my Wii U, will I have that anywhere in my record in the new system?
Yeah.
Like I didn't get that in my 3DS. Like when I lost my 3DS, I lost all the games that I had bought and downloaded to that 3DS and had to go, and if I want them again, I have to go and buy them again.
Which is totally ridiculous, right?
Because it's not, a Microsoft account or a PSN account. It's attached to that console, and that's it. Like, there's only so many times I can buy Super Mario 3. I don't need to play Super Mario 3.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It's not worth me paying another $5 for a fourth time for a 30-year-old game.
Yeah, totally.
So, that's the biggest probably like of the non-standards, like battery life and price. That I'm curious about is going to be like what does the storefront and like online account look like?
Yeah, totally.
Moving forward with them.
Going from that, I agree with you. Yeah, they were really off and like stupidly, I need to say stupidly off with all that on Wii U, because that was already like a generation that was focused on like account management and stuff like that and trophy systems, and Nintendo totally missed the ball on that, even though they had extra time to make the Wii U like that, because the Wii U came out way after PS3. But I hope they learned their lesson with that, and I hope they bring in an account system, a better storefront, like a trophy system would be nice for sure. And I really want to see an evolved virtual console, because for a lot of people, even Colin Moriarty has said that some of the most exciting things for him is like having virtual console games on the go, because he's
like we talked about in the Super Mario Sunshine,
exactly.
Like being able to play something like that, and in theory, there's no reason you couldn't if it can run something like Skyrim, even if it were the old version of Skyrim.
It totally can do that.
It can absolutely run GameCube technology.
Exactly, and see, yeah, that's very exciting for some people, and I want to see like we talked about. I want to see an evolved virtual console. I love how they have NES, and for the new Nintendo 3DS, you have SNES. But like,
yeah.
I don't get why Wii U doesn't have that. Like, it should.
It has a little bit of that.
Yeah, but it's not like
you can get like Mother was an NES game, the precursor Earthbound, and so it's got that. The weirdest thing was
it doesn't get SNES, right?
Where
some
I haven't even looked at. I mean, like I almost never have my Wii U on. One of the amusing things was for a little bit of time there when Rare Replay came out, you could have more N64 games on an Xbox than you could on your Wii U.
It's ridiculous.
Unless you went into like Wii mode. That was the other weird thing, whereas like you could get more games if you went into Wii mode on the Wii U.
It's stupid.
But you couldn't get those same games on the Wii U. Yeah. So it was, the whole thing was very convoluted, and they put their eggs in like the wrong baskets.
So yeah,
all the wrong baskets.
Exactly. I want to see like a better virtual console where they go like, the NES, SNES, N64, and GameCube, and be like, you know what? Because on the Wii it gets murkier because of the whole like movement thing. So maybe skip the Wii and Wii U too, but be like, okay, all of these, and don't be like, okay, we're gonna just cherry pick some of these games, and we're gonna have this, we're not gonna have that. Be like, okay, we're gonna open to so you can buy like a lot of our games like over here. If you want GameCube games, go buy your GameCube games. Like they have a really neat idea with the virtual console, because Nintendo is probably one of the only franchises that could really pull that off because of all of the history that they have. But they need to upgrade a little bit. Be like, okay, here's GameCube, and here's like real N64 support.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah. I mean, like even like online multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
What trying to do more with that? Because I feel like you've got on the Wii U, you've got Splatoon, you've got Smash, and you've got like Mario Kart, and those are
Pretty
like,
much it.
pretty much it
Oh,
in terms of like.
if you count Super Mario Maker, like that's kind of online.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, but yeah, like in terms of like online multiplayer experiences, because so much of the Wii U, so much of what Nintendo has historically ever been is like local co-op,
Totally.
and that's what they still do really well, but that's like not what. That's not what. Once you reach a certain age, you're not playing
As much.
with friends around the couch. You're playing, like on your couch while your friend is on their couch. You know, across the city or something like that.
Totally.
So, it's trying to do something to recapture that audience that I think they've lost as well. So, yeah, great topic or great thoughts on the NS. The other big one that came out this week, obviously, Red Dead got teased and then teased a little bit more, and then we got the trailer. What do you think of that? Are you a Red Dead person?
I love the original Red Dead. I never had it for myself because there's so many games on the PS3 that I like and I've played, but I never owned because of the whole money thing. But yeah, I played Red Dead, and I even played Undead Nightmare. And yeah, Red Dead is so good. The hilarious thing to me is like obviously Rockstar like shook the world with just one picture with the Rockstar logo on the front. Everybody went nuts. They knew it was Red Dead 2, and Nintendo.
And then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, then the next picture, and people were like, yes, hell yes, this seems awesome, so excited. And then the release date, and I'm like, oh, okay, it sucks. It's gonna be fall 2017.
It's a year. Okay, why are you telling us now?
Yeah, that's really dumb.
Yeah.
I don't get that. If you were gonna release it in fall of the next year, announce that in 1 year from now. Like announce it in 1 year, and you'll go
Yeah,
like
they could have done what they did this week at E3, and they would have won E3 next year.
exactly next year. It would have been awesome because
even with a lackluster like just the little 1 minute trailer
exactly.
that came out, it would have been like, well, everything that Sony and Microsoft and Bethesda and Nintendo just showed was boring compared
bullshit.
to Red Dead.
Yeah, and now the contrary happened because Red Dead and everybody was hyped about Red Dead, and then Nintendo put on a picture about little old Mario peeking out of a curtain, and people are like, okay, shut the fuck up. And then the next day, those two dropped pretty much at the same time, and it was like, oh yeah, Red Dead, trees are cool, but did you see the fucking Switch? And it got totally overshadowed. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't see any
That's-
conversation about Red Dead. It was like, oh yeah, but did you see about the Switch? Because it's obviously way more exciting. And yeah, I mean, the trailer, I mean, it's 1 year out. You're not showing me really anything. And I tweeted out, I was like, I would be really shocked if that's how the game actually works. It looks, because a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
mean,
those
they-
things
they-
look
they-
CG.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly it was absolutely a beautiful thing, and they
Oh,
said
yeah.
that was captured in PS4. That was what they
do.
came out
They
and announced
did.
right afterwards is that's a PlayStation partnership is going to have like early access
Mhm.
stuff first for I'm sure like the online stuff.
Which, by the way, is a huge get for Sony, especially if they manage to
Yeah.
get like bundles and stuff like that. That's a huge get.
Yeah, and that like I mean that I feel like that benefits both.
Oh yeah,
both parties though.
definitely.
Yeah. It's certainly like there were those rumors that like Red Dead was going to be part of the Sony conference and then it got scrapped. And I had like I mostly like been like that's just a myth.
But I believe
But
it.
then like looking at that trailer I was like I mean maybe it could have been cuz it fits in the tone of what the rest of the Sony conference was of like we're just going to hit you over the head with amazing trailers that you're going to get really excited about. And so yeah, if they had ended with like 1 minute of Red Dead,
everybody would have
that's what
gone
everybody
insane.
would have been talking about.
Totally.
So my argument has always been like, Sony's not going to give up their own conference to Red Dead, because they're going to want they want people talking about Sony stuff. They wanted people talking about Days Gone and God of War at the end, and Spider-Man. Like, those are the big, like, Sony, you want people talking about Sony stuff.
Totally.
If they had ended with Red Dead, or if Red Dead had been anywhere in there, they would have been talking about Rockstar, not Sony. And so I feel like it wouldn't have been in their interest in any way to kind of have Rockstar in there. But looking at the trailer and seeing, like, oh, but it's still a year out, like, it's lackluster enough that it wouldn't have taken the shine off of the rest of Sony's conference. And so it would have been like, look at all these cool things Sony is doing, and they're getting some Rockstar stuff first with Red Dead. So that's, like, it made me believe more in that possibility than anything had so far. So it's interesting, and I'll certainly be curious to see where, like, when we start seeing more about that game.
Definitely.
And what they start revealing next.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that it's a year out. Even if you had announced it, I think if you announced it at February next year, I think that's a little bit better. But being, like, probably over a year out, that's, like, way too much. Because fall in video game terms is not really fall. It's like November. That's fall.
Yeah.
So another thing, I'm not sure how I feel about if it's really a prequel. That's what it seems it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's again. Well, that's still all speculation.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like speculation with no backing, like the images and, like, match up with how certain characters look and stuff. But I'll be curious to see that. If it is a prequel, I hope that, like, Marston isn't one of the playable characters.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, I hope it's kind of a Mafia 2 to Mafia 3 situation where, okay, Marston's there, and sure, and he's a part of the game, but you're playing it as a totally different dude, and the story is about a different dude. But he's there. Yeah. Like, you interact with him, he's a secondary character. But yeah, if you play as John Marston, like, in the past, I don't like that, because I know how it ends, you know? It's like, yeah, I don't really need to, like, play as him again.
Yeah, I'm certainly in that boat too. And then the idea of, like, it being a sequel is weird too, because like, I mean, you're already pushing the end of the Wild West in Red Dead Redemption being, like, 1911. So I'm sure you could still tell, like, a story that's, you know, it's what, Jack or whoever his son is, playing that, like, a few years later or whatever. Like, it could certainly be something like that. And you know, running up against the more and more technology coming and destroying the West certainly could be an interesting approach. I'll be interested to see where it goes. I like the idea of it being kind of like a Magnificent Seven type of story.
So do I.
But people are talking about, like, how cool would it be if you could play as all of those 7 characters?
No,
like, I don't need that.
That's way too much. Like,
that was, like, it was interesting in GTA 5 as playing as 3 characters
because it was new, right?
Like, I don't need to have a wheel where I can just switch between 7 characters just for the sake of having 7 characters.
That was definitely cool in GTA 5 because they felt like switching it up a little bit, and I think 3 was, like, the perfect number of like, variation, because you had, like, 3 different stories. Okay, it's not too much, it's, like, not too little. I think that was perfect. But yeah, 7 would be, like, way too much. I also like the idea of maybe even, like, okay, there's 7 dudes. Imagine if they go, like, yeah, this takes place before the original Red Dead, and these are the 7 guys, and they just don't even let you know what John Marston's about, like, because he's gonna be in the game. The title of the game, like, lets you know that it has something to do with the original game. I doubt it's a totally separate story.
I mean, like, we say that, but, like, GTAs are separate. Like, every Grand Theft Auto
you're right.
is a separate story.
It may be just a marketing
move. So it's not a guaranteed. It's just we all we're all assuming because they went from Red Dead Revolver to Red Dead Redemption that Red Dead Redemption 2 implies a continuation, but it could just be like, no, Red Dead Redemption is a great brand, just like Grand Theft Auto is a great brand name. So
yeah, you're
just tell a different story, but we've rebranded as Red Dead Redemption, not Red Dead.
exactly. You're completely right on that. And what I think would be the coolest if they are actually planning on integrating like John into it. I think the coolest thing you could do is like, okay, show the 7 characters, be like, yeah, this is a separate story. It takes place before the original Red Dead, but it has nothing to do with it. And imagine you're this gang, right? And you're these 7 guys that are all new. And then, like, let's say 3/4 into the game or halfway into the game, you realize the bad guy, like somebody that's like trying to ruin your gang, is John Marston. Like, be it a surprise. That's such a cool integration that knowing 8 years in advance you're gonna play. Okay, so I'm gonna be in John Marston's gang. Imagine playing the game, being like, oh, okay, I guess this is separate, and being like, holy shit, he's totally trying to fuck me up. That would be awesome. That would be so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Any last thoughts on Red Dead you want to touch on?
No, I'm excited for it, but it's so far out that I kind of want them to just shut up about it and let me know, like, in June next year about that. I want to know about it in E3 next year. I don't want to know anything else about it, but I'm totally going to, so.
Yeah, and that's certainly, that's one of the things, like, I feel like Rockstar hasn't done E3 in years and years and years. So I'd be curious to see, like, if they're on the PlayStation stage at E3. I imagine they will be.
Yeah, same here.
But they, like, for the most part, yeah, they've typically historically have skipped E3 and just done their own thing. But since they are doing this pseudo partnership with PlayStation on this, I imagine that's probably in, like, in all honesty, that's probably already in, like, the legal documentation of being like, and you're gonna show part of the game. You're going to have 10 minutes on our E3 conference in 2017. So be prepared for that. Work towards that now.
Exactly.
Yeah. The last thing, nobody really asked about it, but I just wanted to touch on it. The Logan trailer also dropped this week.
Yes.
The new Wolverine trailer. Are you a fan of the X-Men movies?
Yeah, I am. Well, I think any fan of the X-Men movies is just a fan of some of the X-Men movies.
Yeah, last week on the show, one of the questions in this segment was rank the X-Men movies.
Oh.
And so Kaylee and I, like, went through. Kaylee's only seen like half of them, but I went through and ranked all of them, and I was like, well, like, the 2 Wolverine movies are near the bottom of the list. One of them is the bottom of the list.
Oh yeah,
so,
totally.
So, like, I don't have much hope for Logan, and then the trailer dropped, and I was like, okay, well, suddenly, like, this looks like it could very easily be the best of the Wolverine
yeah,
movies.
definitely. I actually like the second Wolverine movie. Not that many people do. I do like it a lot. Except for the ending, the villain is, like, so blah. But I like the movie.
Yeah.
I think it has some really cool moments. Like, for example, like the bullet train in Japan, like, whole sequence. I think that sequence is awesome. Like, really cool.
Yeah, no, it's like, it ended up in kind of like the middle of my list.
Yeah.
I think Wolverine, the Wolverine, but it was very, like, forgettable compared to the X-Men movies that I liked. So yeah, it's the, like, there's, like, the X-Men movies that I like. There's the Wolverine, which is, like, it didn't offend me horribly, but I also didn't hate it. And then there's, like, the shit ones. I was like, nope.
Totally.
Never gonna watch those again.
Which one's your favorite?
X2.
X2. Mine's Days of the Future Past.
Days of the Future Past.
Did you like that one?
Yeah, I mean that's above. I think that ended up to me. I've got my notes right here. Yeah, that was above right above the Wolverine.
Yeah, Days.
So it's like it's the bottom of the ones I really like.
I go Days of Future Past and then X2. I really like Days of Future Past. I've seen it like 3 times, I think. But yeah, in terms of Logan, man, oh my god. First of all, I love, just from the trailer, I get the vibe that they're just throwing continuity, like fuck it, like, listen, we're already giving you such a complicated continuity in like the entire movie universe are like so complicated, and I really get the feeling that they're like, look, this is a standalone story. You don't need to know about what happened in Days of Future Past, or you don't need to know like what continuity we're in. This is the movie, and it's about like an old Professor X that you presume is kind of dying from what we see, an old Logan, and this little girl who's also has powers. Apparently, like there's no mutants in this world. It's just super violent. Like that shot that went super like viral everywhere because it's such a fucking awesome shot of just Wolverine like just destroying a dude, and you can even see the rest of the claws on the dude's head. So it lets you know, like, yeah, this is gory, this is like brutal. You're gonna see a lot of people get like horribly killed, which is awesome for a Wolverine movie. And I've seen a lot of comparisons to The Last of Us, and it's like, yeah, totally, and that seems awesome. Like, he's solely a Joel character, like Logan's solely a Joel character. There's this little girl who's special for some reason, and we also have the dynamic with like an old Professor X that I presume is dying just from what I saw. But it seems like those three are gonna be like doing. From what I feel, it's very Last of Us-y, or like they need to go to some place because there's a lot of scenery with like a car and something.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm super down for that. I love how it doesn't. The title doesn't even have like Wolverine in it. I like that. It's like Logan, like showing that it's a standalone thing. I think.
Yeah, I like I've always been a fan of that the Hurt that they use, the song they use in the trailer.
Yes, an incredible song for the
Johnny Cash cover of Hurt. Because it just like I know I grew up and like I heard the Nine Inch Nails version, but when like I heard Johnny Cash singing that,
he nails it.
A couple years before he passes and whatnot, it's like this is that is it's just a like I will go and listen to that song every now and then just because. And so when it popped up in the trailer, I was like, okay, like you're already pushing my buttons in a good way. And then just watching the trailer and a few times I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm already gonna go see it anyway because I go see every freaking superhero movie pretty much.
Same here.
It was like I'm hoping I don't hate this, and fingers crossed I won't.
Yeah, I think from when they said it's gonna be like an R rating, I already had the idea. Like, okay, I think they know what they're doing with this movie. It's gonna be the last time that Hugh Jackman like does the Wolverine part. And that's like huge. Yeah. He's been Wolverine for so long, since like 2000. When did X-Men come out?
2002,
I think.
No, maybe
2002,
2003.
Yeah, I think it's 2002.
Maybe? I don't know.
So he's been playing Wolverine for 14 years. It's like, here you go. This is the last movie. He's old, and here's a story about like here's a very dark. It seems like a very dark movie.
2000. So
2000.
16 It'll be 17 years by the time this comes out.
Imagine that. He's been a part of some awesome movies. He's been a part of some terrible movies, and just the idea of okay, this is totally separate from anything we've seen because it's so far in the future. This is separate. Don't worry about that. And it's gonna be his last story, and it seems dark. It seems like hope. There's kind of. It doesn't feel like a lot of hopelessness. It seems like very hopeless and kind of again like The Last of Us. It seems like very like this is where we're at now. It sucks, but you know what? Here's this dude, like this really old grumpy dude that you somehow care about, having to take care of a little girl, and that's just a great story. It works so well for The Last of Us, and like. Taking it to X-Men movie with like a Wolverine that's just angry all the time. That just seems really cool. I think this has potential of being the best X-Men story if they really treat it right. Because I think it can be not just like a fun a lot of action, a lot of action, but I think it has potential of being like a really great story.
Yeah. Great. Well, that's all we had for questions this week.
Hey.
So I want to thank you, Mario, for joining me, and thanks for pushing through late into the night with me and fighting the tech issues and whatnot.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for having me on PS Enthusiast a couple months back. So yeah, go ahead and make some plugs. Tell people where they can find you at Mario Not Bros.
Totally.
And all them good places.
So yeah, you can find me at Mario Not Bros pretty much every social media except for my PSN. Somebody's already named Mario Not Bros, and when I made it, I decided to make Monkey Waffle, which please do.
Monkey Waffle.
Yes, Monkey _ Waffle. Just to make it a little better.
There you
go. You can go to PlayStationEnthusiast.com. That's the site I write for. Also to Enthusiast.gg. That's a new website we're making. That's sort of a community-based website where everybody can log in and post, and their posts get upvoted, and maybe even make it to like the front page. It's kind of like a Reddit, but it's still a little bit more of a community-based thing. You can take a look at that. It's such a beautiful website. I love it. And just thank you for having me, Trevor. Congratulations on the IGN freelancing. That's super awesome, dude.
Thank you. Yeah. That's it's been a lot of fun. This wrapped up my first week with them, and I have 5 stories. I wrote one right before we started recording that I don't think they've published yet because pretty much everybody's like gone for the weekend. Yeah. So it might go up this weekend or it might not. I don't know. But yeah, that's been a ton of fun. And I've been like so overwhelmed by all the kind words and support that people have been sending out.
It's awesome, man. We're all cheering for you.
Thank you for being one of them. Thank you for joining me, Mario Piacquadio.
Hey.
Mario Not Bros on Twitter.
That is me.
Hooray. And I'm your host, Trevor Starkey, at Snarky Starkey on Twitter. You can follow the show at Trove Talk. You can see what I'm working on most recently on trevortrove.com. Or, as we just touched on, you might see my byline on IGN every now and then. So, hooray! Yay!
We made it.
Thank you for. This is probably another long episode. We had to break it up a couple times, so I'll have to. I don't know how long. It's 3 hours almost since we refilled in. So, and I think we had like another hour plus before that.
Yeah. So we definitely reached the 4 hour mark.
Hooray!
Hey,
yay!
I did it.
Staying, keeping the average up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for watching, and until next time, insert closing tag here.